Hey everyone, welcome back to 3D6 Down the Line. It is episode 61 of the Halls of Arden Vul Megadungeon Crawl by Richard Barton using the old school essential system by Necrotic Gnome. This is the beginning of Delve 4. We are 4 delves in, and this is actually going to be the beginning of an actual classic delve. They are moving into uncharted territory in the search for solidifying their alliance with the goblins by visiting the Goblin King, which the goblins up here in the debouchement have wished for some time now. Now that the surface is basically cut off for them, if they value their own skins, at least for the time being, they have decided to double down and go deep into the dungeons of Arden Vul. My name is John, by the way. I'm your referee for the evening. Going around the horn, we have a full house.
Hi, I am Mike. I am playing Brother Lothar, the first level human cleric.
Hi, I'm David. I'm playing Mysophase, the second level magic user.
Hi, everyone. I have a microphone. This is Matt. I play... Sorry about that. I play Avaricios, the left hand of Lysion, 6th level cleric, ready to go meet the king.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Ted, playing Mortis J. Gabliano, 6th level Imperial Goblin. In today's nugget of wisdom, God made Arden Vul to train the faithful. Remember that.
Nice. So true. That is definitely a truism. So, as we said, they are currently in the debouchement, which right now is is the place where their character stable is. So, all NPCs, retainers, and possible PCs that the characters have collected over the past few days in game time are all here in the debouchement. So the first question that we have, and you can basically, it's been spoiled here by the overlay, but is exactly what the party composition is going to be. It looks like the only person who changed out was Mike, who is leaving Darius behind for Brother Lothar. I just want to confirm that this is the PC makeup, right? Everyone's happy with this? Okay, cool. So we got 2 clerics, which is great. So it looks like Mort is carrying the burden of being the frontline guy, at least as far as PCs go. But speaking of which, we need to hammer down on which retainers that you guys are planning on taking, understanding that the immediate goal now, no longer a far goal, is to establish a safe haven in order to dump off that gold and get a shit ton of XP. And whoever is the ones that actually dump it off are the ones that gets the XP. So how much are you going to dilute that with your retainers?
I don't think too much. I really love bringing a big party in, but we're going to keep it lean to keep the division as small as possible. I'm only bringing y'all since Yost is going to stay behind. Figured bringing a big chunk of hit points and Southern Charm would be a good idea. So Njal is going to come with Avaricios.
Okay. Anyone else?
I actually have a question. When you say dump off the gold and get the XP, we've already put a bunch of gold in our stash.
Yeah.
Do we not get the XP for that?
You do not know. It's not a safe haven here. It's not safe here.
So do we magically get it the moment we create a safe haven with the king?
Not magically, but you know it when you see it, right? We all know what a safe haven is.
Okay.
And once you kind of deliver the gold onto that safe haven, then you'll get the XP.
What John's trying to say is we're going to die terribly the minute we meet the king, and it's not an important thing.
What I'm asking is, we don't actually need to take all the gold with us to the king.
You can spend the gold. The gold is there. Whether or not you have XP for the gold is dependent upon what you bring with you, and assuming that where you're going is actually going to be a safe haven, which is a tall assumption to make.
I would recommend that we only bring what we're giving to the king for now. And then if we discover there's a safe haven there, we can come back and do another trip. But
I would say yes to that. And then maybe we also bring that big pile of gems, although we already got the XP for those because they were at the inn, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
The jewelry. All right,
Yeah,
cool.
like
Yeah. Then I agree with David 100%.
And we had talked about bringing. I think we settled on around 10,000 worth of the gold, which would be 1,000.
Mhm.
And I think that the plan, I mean, if the goblins are amenable to carrying some sacks for us, we were going to ask goblins to come along with us as a retinue. To
Okay, so just to answer the question though, are you planning on taking anyone else besides Njal? Is Sam still going to be waiting in the wings?
I'm going to leave Sam behind.
Oh,
Wow.
Sam.
But we're going to leave her behind with Yost.
Okay.
you're gonna make little superhero NPCs.
Right.
And are you
That's
not
right.
going
And
to
Lisbeth,
attempt to
there's-
hire a goblin?
Well, as it happens, yes. I think that I would like to do that. I would like to take Gangrene aside and ask him, "You, Mr. Gangrene, you have served well and faithfully these last few hours,
The hours?
but many miles. Wouldst thou consider being my personal assistant?"
Hey, he's like, oh, boss, I thought you'd never ask. I'd be honored, sir. Of course, I like a nice bit of the shiny to go with it, wouldn't do me wrong.
Well, you are entitled to a share of the proceeds of our adventures, indeed, sir.
Put my life on the line for you, boss.
That is what I love to hear, and you, of course, shall be my first concern. But
I've never seen a king before, boss. I can't wait to meet him.
let us go then, before this barbarian says something, or whatever he is.
I'm an educated man. I'm the only Mithric speaker in the party.
Oh yes, of course. But do you speak goblin, sir?
No. I was wondering though, guys. I've never really had a retainer that lasted longer than a session. What can I say? Shelty is a
Or it's going to
barbarian.
get out,
Right?
Mike.
Shelty is a barbarian, right?
Yes, he is.
What do you guys think? Should we bring him along?
Can you? He has to be lower level than you.
John said he had to be my level or lower.
Correct.
Oh, okay.
So and chances are barbarians level slower than clerics. So
You,
I
you,
should
you know
be
his
okay.
level. He's like way higher than you.
Oh, I thought he was first. I'm sorry.
No, yeah. He's a.
No,
All right.
no.
Never mind.
Kelty comes up to you, brother Lothar, and he's like, "Would you like to be my retainer?"
Yes. Yes, I will.
Oh, were you thinking the other? No. Okay.
I speak the Mithric.
Before we
You know
head
what
out,
I'm
I have
saying?
one more. One thing
All
before we
right,
head
guys.
out. I don't know if it's feasible to do this. I've been toting around ISO's ring with a 1-inch disc on it that I thought maybe was a floating disc thing I triggered, but there's no inscription on it. I'm suspicious that it might be a shield ring.
Yeah.
Could someone throw a rock at me? Is that like something I could verify? Like, would it have an effect, or would I just have a higher?
I'd be
You know,
happy
like,
to throw rocks at you, David.
but like, do we imagine shield has like a visible component when it is like a force field, or is it
Yes.
just that my AC is
Sorry,
okay?
no, it's an invisible field, but it's like I think there's an shimmering or something like that.
Is that fair to
Well,
say,
and
John?
we've seen it on Yost. Like Yost has had the shield spell cast on him numerous times.
Okay, would someone throw a pebble at me? I guess
Yeah, why don't you examine the ring and see if there's a command word on it or
we
something?
did, and there's not. That's what I was saying.
No,
I
well,
examined it at the beginning of last
Immediately,
session.
you know, you
I immediately throw a pebble at David.
you did examine it, but no one could speak Mithric.
Oh, I speak Mithric now.
Oh, well, I was told there was nothing on it, but I guess it isn't Mithric. What is it? What does the Mithric say?
I don't think you actually examined it until you were not playing Onweir, David. So,
yeah, no, it was last session. I had it on Misophase. Yeah. It was before.
oh really? Did I tell you there wasn't
Doesn't
anything on it at all?
Neither here nor there. I thought you said there's nothing on it. I could have misheard. If there is, then Mike, would you
Oh
kindly...
wait, hold on.
Ah.
Because I like to know what that is before we get into.
Oh yeah,
some
sorry.
shit.
I was right. Sorry. I must have told you that because that's correct. There is no command word on it.
There's no command word.
Yeah.
Okay, someone throw a rock at me. I guess.
I immediately throw a large rock at David.
Aim for the shins at least, baby.
Ow! You yell out.
Nothing happens. What the hell does this ring do? We know it's magical.
How does
Try
it?
rubbing
How does it?
Try rubbing the
So
shield.
it's a
The
very
first-
gaudy. It's a gaudy silver ring. and it has a very oversized 1-inch diameter silver disc that rests against your knuckle. So it's quite,
John?
if you think of an inch on your finger, like that would take up almost probably the entire knuckle, right? So it's like really big.
So if I go like this with it, when that rock is thrown, does it have a different effect?
No, nothing. Yeah.
John, how does it compare to the ring that I think Mort still has it, which is the unlocking ring that we used to get into the Trials of Arden?
Sounds really different.
I don't know what that one looked like, but it looks completely different. There's definitely no relationship between the two.
Yeah. David, try rubbing the shield part of it or something with your thumb or something. Experiment with it.
I'll rub it. Yeah. Poke and prod at it, and rub on it, and do all the things one might do with the ring.
Yeah, rub it and see if it gets bigger.
Sort of effect. Can I breathe on it?
When you rub on top of the actual round part, the disc that sits on top of your thing, the disc itself actually rotates a little bit I don't know the terms for ring, but the part that is on your finger.
So can I rotate
Does it make that record sound?
Or any sort of click?
It's sort of like a fine gear, sort of, you know what I mean? Like a kick. Like you're turning the knob of a watch sort of thing.
You think this would get us into the spaceship or something, guys? No.
I don't want to give the impression.
It
doesn't give you the impression that it's like high technology. It's just sort of like a very fine piece of jewelry, basically.
Okay. All right. Well, we can table this for now. I don't think I'm going to think of anything brilliant for the moment. I just wanted to.
You could finish rotating it and see what happens.
Yeah. Can I rotate it and see if it eventually has any effect if I continue to rotate it? Or if I spin it really fast?
So it basically rotates 360 degrees until it comes back to the point where it was before, and then it stops. And then nothing happens, and then you can't move it any further. But if you attempt to rotate it counterclockwise, it goes back to the original position.
So it will go a whole
rotation.
And it doesn't, if you rotate it all the way one direction and let go, does it start ticking or counting backwards? Or
no.
Can I press it in or pull it up? Yeah. No. Good thinking.
All good things to try, but nothing seems to be working.
Next time. Let's get to the Goblin King for now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So we're bringing 1,000 Solidai. Matt, is that how many can the goblins carry? If we go back to the same.
Let me get my spreadsheet out because that's
what
this game is
travel at, guys. Because I'm at 90 for my armor and my great weapon.
Yeah, I mean, I can carry some. I just like the idea of making the goblins carry everything, and then we just stand around looking all fly while they pour it at the feet of their king.
Okay, if they carry nothing but a large sack, each goblin can carry 120. So we need at 8 or something. That's math. But if we want them to have a small sack and a weapon, they would carry 60.
Each goblin.
Yeah.
I think give them a large sack. We'll protect them. We're going to their king. I don't think they need to have a weapon, right?
Yeah.
So how many Solidai are going with you?
1,000 total. I can carry 5 slots of Solidai if we need.
Okay, so you understand that that's going to be 10,000 XP worth of. I mean, that's going to be 10,000 XP should you get to a safe haven, right? That's going to be divvied up.
That's the
goal.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do we have anything else small and portable, guys, in the stash that we want to try and take, like just gems? Any other gems that were not in the stash?
We haven't already gotten XP for yet.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff we haven't gotten XP for yet. Jade and garnet figurines, gold rings, the gold statue, earrings, lockets, ivory boxes. Yeah. There's a bunch.
Why don't we keep it clean for now? I mean, we have an easy number. Chances are when we're down there, we're going to find more treasure anyway. Let's be
the optimism. I love it.
I love it.
Come on, we are very good at this.
You
professionals.
I'm going to do a Columbo real quick. One last thing, because it occurred to me. I have all of the portal keys, and I have the blue tile and a bunch of other stuff. Can I stow a lot of these important quest items in our stash? So I'm not bringing it with us. Just so you know, I'm doing it. So I'm going to put the key to the library and Plunger Town, the blue tile, The 2 gold soul die, the 2 Arcantian pennies, the 1 gold eye, all because I don't think we're needing them right now. And if we do die, I'm going to put the owlbear feather and the claw necklace in there as well. Because if we eat shit, I don't want him to be in the. I'd rather us have it than the Goblin King. So
okay, so make sure you note it on your character sheet.
Yeah,
or that you
write it down on the treasure tracker, David.
Yeah, exactly. Or make a note for Ted.
Yep.
Or send me a note.
One more.
I'll log it.
Yeah.
Regarding treasure, there's a very important piece. I want to make sure. Right now, the golden rod that is going to get Avaricios eaten by a dragon is on Njal. Do we? Yeah. I'm thinking we want to keep it with us.
I agree,
because that's the safest, right?
I agree.
Let's keep it just in case we find a use for it. Yeah,
exactly. So I'm going to keep that.
To be 2 floors away, and then we find a door that takes a golden rod or something.
Okay. So, how much are you going to be paying Gangrene?
Let me just go to terms and conditions here. The going rate for Lisbeth Codswallop, that scumbag, he was getting 2 gold pieces a day plus a half share. Everybody agree that retainers should continue to get paid that like Lisbeth does?
Sure.
2 gold pieces a day plus a half share?
Yeah.
All right. Write it down.
All right. And we are, let's see, we are starting, today is what, the 4th or 5th? It's the 5th of Lagarios, isn't it?
It's the 5th. Yeah, it's 8:00 a.m. Obviously, I'm not going to make a roll to see if Gangrene agrees. He's totally down for it. He is now part of the AV club. That is Gangrene. Awesome. So the last thing I need to do before we go is spells. I need to know Avaricios' spells and Mysophase's spells.
Well, I'm going to tack on to that, John, because also Av didn't spend his last 2 healing spells in the last episode, so he would have used those. I did a poll. The only person who was significantly down is actually Njal, so he's going to spend those 2 on. Okay,
roll them.
You forgot about Yost.
Well, Yost isn't coming.
Oh, okay. You're just going to leave Yost to defend all of our treasure with no hit points. Okay, that's cool.
Yep, that's the plan. Okay. I'm going to roll 2d6 plus 2. That is a 1 and a 6 for 7. So 9 points go to Njal.
Okay.
He is back at full.
Great. If anyone didn't heal themselves 1 hit point from the rest last night, they can do that as well. Yeah, and now spells, please. What do we got?
I'll go first.
Okay, I have my... Go ahead.
I thought you were looking, sorry. Floating Disc and Ventriloquism are my 2.
Okay, very good.
Okay. I'm, for my 2 level 1s, I have Cure Light Wounds, and I'm going to bring Purify Food and Water, because I don't know where we're going. I don't know what the Michelin star rating is down in Goblin Town.
It's not French laundry.
I'm going to bring Speak with Animals as a 2nd level, and Silence, because that's always really good. And my 3rd level, I'll bring Locate Object. And level 4, the classic Sticks to Stakes.
Okay, cool. So no Continual Light, is that correct?
Well, it's already cast on his.
It's still on. Okay.
He doesn't have to recast that. It's permanent.
Very good. Okay, so right, and you're fully outfitted the way that you guys like and all that kind of good stuff, right? There's not a lot of room to get too much mundane equipment, but you could fill up with not iron rations, but spoilable rations that are, if you like. I'm just double checking, but you guys are good to go, right?
I mean, I'm literally carrying nothing but my starting gear, so I have more slots available, guys. If we do want to take any more portable treasure, I'm just going to throw that out again. We might as well get XP for it now if we have stuff that we can bring down there. I don't know.
If you want to, knock yourself out, man.
I'm traveling at 90 regardless because of my armor and my weapons. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 slots in my backpack I can fill up.
Well, the easiest thing is just the Solidai. Just put 10 Solidai in each slot. That's 200, and then 100 gold per slot.
Because right now I've got a log of what's in the stash.
Okay. I mean, if Solidai is the biggest bang for our buck, then that's fine.
All I would say is
Solidai?
Hold on. All I would say is feel free to disagree, right? All I would say is we don't know there's a safe haven there. not only do we not know there's a saving haven, we don't know that it's safe there. And in addition to that, even if we have good interactions with the Goblin King, we likely don't have a safe haven that we've established yet. So burdening yourself with Solidai that aren't going to yield XP with any sort of certainty may be something you don't want to do, both because we could lose that Solidai or because it's just going to fill inventory slots. No, do it. I'm just reminding us that we don't have an assured XP exchange here. So that's right.
I mean, it might be, if we end up at the set market, having some cash on us might not be a bad idea.
I think that's a bad idea. I agree.
So
I'm just putting it out there.
Maybe.
Yeah. Right. No. Whatever you want to do.
It's 10 Solidai per slot. Why don't I take a total of 30 Solidai?
Cool.
And then I'm going to take Clavum off of Darius. Okay.
I'm stashing Iso's staff because it's not magical.
Okay.
By the way.
So, John, I will still have one slot to carry. Now, I don't think you
that you understand that Clavum can't be used by Brother Lothar, right?
Right. Not as a spear, but as a lockpick, it can.
Yes, true. Yep.
So that's why I'll take Clavum.
Okay. So I assume it's in its reduced form, right?
Yep.
Okay, cool. So you're fully outfitted. You're going to take the same 20 goblins that have already ventured with you so far. Actually, I think it really won't matter mechanically or anything like that, but I think it's probably going to be another subset of goblins just because those ones that ventured with you have been run through the mill, and they deserve a break. So the only one that's going to remain with you is Gangrene as a full retainer. And you load them up. Now, with the load that they have, are they now down at 60? So the party's moving at 60?
No, these were at 90. So each one can carry a bag with 120 gold.
And that's still remain at 90?
And be at 90.
Okay, cool. All right, so the party's moving at 90 unless one of you guys is moving at 60, but none of you are, right?
I'm at 90.
Correct.
Okay, so Bottleneck basically gathers everyone around. All of your companions as well are there, and they're all and everyone's chanting off to see the king, down to Goblin Town. And Hjalti and Harold both thank you for everything that you've done to rescue them and save their lives, and they wish you well if they don't see you again. And Sam just sort of gives you a little nod, all right. And Lyda is nowhere to be seen. You assume that she's still up at the top of the pyramid. And the goblins all look gleefully, mostly at Mort, basically, as Mort leads the party and the rest of the goblins towards the area where has been set aside for you to be your resting place, which is on the map here, this area right here that leads down to Goblin Town. Yeah, Ted.
Before we go, Mort will make sure that Yost and Sam get paid.
Okay, great. They are very happy about that.
We do not want any other Codswallop incidents.
Yes. The last lingering looks, of course, before the darkness enfolds upon you as you leave this level is, of course, the wistful look of Yost as he reaches out a hand and, no, don't leave me. My public loves me.
Lisbeth is staying there too. And she is going to cast her. Well, she only has one Cure Light Wounds. She's going to cast that on Yost every day that we're gone. So Yost will be building up while we're gone.
Okay, cool. Sounds good. Oh, and did you take the Black Iron Spear? Did y'all take it or no?
I still have him with the axe. It just seems like it's such a Yost thing.
That's totally fine. Yep. I just want to know.
Put the Black Iron Spear in the stash, and it's fine.
Okay, so off you go with your party in tow, the huge goblin entourage. As you move down into that, so there is basically in the southeast corner of that room that has the 3 sarcophagi, which have since been moved, of course, is where all of the retainers, all the non-goblin people have been basically staying. But in that southeast corner was the point at which the goblins were coming up above, fought the halflings for a little while, and always sort of retreat back until the darlings basically were easy prey, and they came up out of this hole. So they're like, we're going to go down and we're going to see Killik, the big boss of the wet caves. Oh, yes. And they kind of grab your hands and they're like, down we go, down to Goblin Town. And you squirrel away into the darkness using, I suppose, Avaricios's continual light as the main light source.
Yes. Yes.
And you're going to go down a long, long tunnel for about 250 feet down.
Does it go down like to another level down, or just more or less level?
No, it goes 250 like down, another level.
So
down.
we're leaving this level.
You're leaving the level. And you're going to be, I'll point you out, Ted, in a second here.
Okay.
You're moving at 90, so moving 250 feet is going to take 3 turns to move down. It's relatively cramped because it was made for goblins who tunneled through here. So you kind of, you taller people have to all squat down a little bit as you move through. And they're all like chittering and excited. And you can tell like they know exactly where they're going. And, you know, they're like, yes, this way.
Do we have a song?
And down you go. Yes. Cue the Rankin Bass Hobbit song. And we're going to
breath has rosy glow.
switch over to Miro here real quick so you guys can see we're zooming away from the Halls of Thoth and we're moving down to a new empty map. Going down to lower left, Ted, map 9. It's actually labeled Down to Goblin Town.
Excellent.
And you're going to zoom in basically in the center where I've dropped a PC token. And that's where you're going to start mapping.
Baby. I'm ready to map the heck out of Goblin Town.
You're only going to map it if everyone moves their goddamn curses out of the way.
Whee, cursor.
All right. And okay, so let me switch over to my end here, and folks at home can get a good look at what level they're on now.
Be sure to tell us in the comments everything we need to know, everybody.
Please do not. Okay, so zooming
There's
in here.
Solidai in it for you.
All right, so 3 turns go by, about 30 minutes, and let's see, I'm marking off my thing here, 8:30 in the morning, and down you go, down into the depths of Arden Vul. So on this map, it's just a continuation, basically, of the tunnel as it sort of levels out at this point, and it is a tunnel that is going straight south from where the PC marker is. It's about 5 feet wide. It's going generally southward. It's a natural tunnel for 10, 20, wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, for about 50 feet.
Wait, is this a 10-foot square map or 5-foot square map?
10-foot square map.
5-foot tunnel, 20 feet.
50 feet.
50 feet.
Yeah. Okay. And it's a natural cavern, so it's sort of winding its way, but generally southward. And let me get to the thing here. Navigating this gigantic adventure. 1 second, please.
Okay.
Okay. Checking my notes here. Give me 1 second. Right. Okay. Let me just check the right there. Okay, as you get to the end of that 50 feet and it levels out, the goblins get very, very excited, and you guys can start to smell something. It smells relatively foul. It smells like musty, dry a little bit. Also, the stench of like body odor, which is kind of all around you because of the goblins. And you, let's see, where is I thought there was a barrier here. Hold on a second.
There was a barrier at the top of the corridor originally.
Yeah, that's gone. Why isn't that not? What am I missing here? Well, anyways, it opens up into a relatively large natural cavern. That cavern's about 20 by 20, and there is once again, until I say otherwise, it's all natural. There is a 10-foot wide opening that heads south. Okay. And in that cavern that you open up into, you see the goblins who are sort of leading the way. Basically, you know, they kind of come in there and you hear them go, "Whoa, wait." And they're like, "Oh, nice beasties. And you hear like a roar. And as you emerge in with your light, Avaricios, and the rest of you, you can see that the chamber is dominated by 2 extremely large, dull gray scaled subterranean lizards that look like an underground version of what you killed outside the gladiator school many moons ago. And they are roughly leashed with, like, you know, flimsy ropes and stuff like that are being held back by a couple of goblins. So there's like 2 lizards and 2 goblins in there, and they're like, they're here. The one, Mr. Gobliano. Yes, finally, the king. Roar. Off you go, down. Keep going to the south. And then you hear like Gangrene's like, oh, I know the way. Don't worry about it. You don't have to tell me. And you head 10 feet south, unless you want to talk to these goblins.
I will simply give them a little salute.
And they yank their lizards back, which their tongues are like lolling out. And you go 10 feet to the south before you enter into a natural crossroads with 5-foot wide passageways that are heading to the east, to the vague southwest, and to the south as well. And at this point, you can see that there is a steady, familiar, dull red glow coming from the east. And you've seen this red glow very not into the too distant past. Can you kind of remember where you saw a steady red glow?
Is that where the Gorin went naked with the lever that they pulled?
No,
that's
up. That is
much more recent.
Pyramid of Evil?
No, it's the same dull red glow that you saw in the cave bear that he was munching on.
The cave bear thing. We think they're
those little glowy things.
Yeah.
Okay. So that is actually the direction that they are taking you. So you go for about 20 feet through a very narrow 5-foot wide passageway that opens up into a strange chamber. The makeup of it, it's a combination of natural caves and worked stone. You've seen a combination like this. Actually, I believe it was Rin who saw this when he was doing some work south of the Blue Pillar there. But so that person's not here. So this looks completely foreign to you. But even if Rin was here, it looks different than that because the worked stone is an oily, slicked, pebbled sort of stone you've never seen before. It's very, very strange looking. Like it almost looks like skin, like a not a rubbery, but like pebbled, like very, very little bumps and ridges all over the place, but relatively smooth because they're so small. And the whole thing sort of has a sheen in the continual light and in the red glow that's also in the room as well. That kind of gives us this slick, oily look. It's kind of unpleasant, but it's worked stone, but it's not Arcantian. And
don't we wish we had a dwarf right now?
And part of the room is that, and part of the room is most of the room is actually natural. So in general, it's let's see if I've got it written down here to make it easy. I think I did. These are very rough dimensions, Ted. It's just impossible to kind of give you the exact, but it's roughly about 20 feet in diameter, and there's a 10-foot wide egress to the north and a 5-foot wide egress to the east. All right.
John, while he's drawing that out, when we were back at that intersection where we just went east, if we'd asked the goblins, what is down that way, and what is in these directions that we're not going? Do you guys go down there?
You just asked about like west and south, basically back at the crossroads.
Yeah.
So they say, and the lizard keepers are like, oh, that south is where they sleep. Oh yes, we bring them here to guard. And they say, and to the west, when you're like, what's to the west? All the goblins, the 20 goblins that you brought with you, and the 2 goblins here with the lizard keepers, they all chant like simultaneously, and they just go, Gog, Gog, Gog.
Ooh.
Oh, okay. Oh, interesting. We saw a stairwell that led down to that guy.
Bottom of the chasm. I thought Gog was like way at the bottom of the chasm for some reason.
You're 250 feet down from where you were previously.
Yeah,
Which
but
is pretty far down in the first place, right?
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember.
Okay, so that's just the general dimensions of the room. There's a lot of shit going on in this room, because everyone kind of comes to a halt as you kind of take in what this whole room is about. So first of all, that weird oily pebbled stone with the natural caves as well. There are 6 red glowing beetle globes on the walls that are sort of pulsing out like a dull red glow. So everything's sort of very, very muted until Avaricio sort of comes in with the continual light and sort of opens up everything. There is on one wall, there is a tattered old grimy brown banner with a grinning goblin that's been painted on it. On one wall, there's a huge lizard skull, which looks like one of the lizards that you just saw, that's festooned with feathers all over it, like boom, 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 like a big, like a Quetzalcoatl sort of thing. That's on another wall, and to the southeast, on part of the worked stone, oily stone, there is a door that is half covered with debris that it's obvious the goblins have shoved up against it, just like random crap that's like halfway up the door. And on top that pile of debris in front of the door, there is a spear where a sign has been roughly attached to it. And that sign, where is it here? Give me a second. Where is it? Oh, it says in Goblin, it says, so basically more, you can read this. It says, "No go, bad juju." In front of it. The door itself, in the center of it, there is carved into it is a 2-foot square, hideous, amphibian-looking face. 2 vertical almond-shaped eyes glare forth over a slit nose and a wide but tightly shut mouth. And it immediately pings that idol that you saw in your stash, in the midst of that pyramid in that secret room. But it's very much more abstracted, right? Like it's 2-dimensional because it's been carved in. And you see that around the door, you kind of have to squint to see it, but there are 4 small 2-inch square indentations in the stone that you can't quite get. They're very, very fine, but you can see that they're sort of arrayed around that skull, around that face in the wall, the amphibian-like face. However, more importantly, in front of the door, like squarely in front of that door in the debris pile, is another pile of rubble upon which a wooden armchair is sort of resting, rickety, like about to fall over. And in that armchair is Killik, the big boss of the wet caves. He's long-limbed and gangly. He basically has like a round body, but like all of his limbs are like super long, like a spider almost. And he has a jaw that is so broken that it is fully moved to the side of his upper jaw. And he has a massive tusk overbite that kind of comes up, just like, like that. And you see that he is, hold on. He has a wooden ring that is around his neck. All right. And when he sees you all come in, he's like, finally, you've arrived. Welcome, adventurers.
I will clash my gauntlet against my shield. Hail and well met, mighty Killik. Much have we heard of you.
Have you now? This is good to hear. All proper respect to the big boss of the wet caves.
Indeed, sir. Indeed.
You must be
very damp.
You must be Mortis of the Gobliano tribe, yes?
I am he, Mortis J. Gobliano, adventurer. And these are my fair and wonderful companions. We seek an audience with your king.
This I know. I know indeed. Much have we heard about you. Much word has been brought down by Harab and Lawakim and her band as well. And rumor floats always through the wet caves.
John, would you say that spittle is flying from Killick's mouth as he talks?
Probably, I'm sure. You probably can't hold it in too well.
There's lots of traffic that moves around here. Words, bodies. Everyone must pay homage to Killik, the big boss. Oh, yes.
He looks expectantly at you.
Gentlemen, I will take I will take how much you guys think. I have 30 solar die on me, 10, 20, or 30.
Uh,
I give him 10. That's 100 gold. That's
put them in his palm one at a time, looking at him in the eye until you give him 10, and then
he's looking. He has his hand out when you kind of approach it. You have to kind of reach up to give it to him because he's on top of this pile of rubble, like he's sitting on this
don't
throne.
forget, I'm a massive giant dude with 2 ponytails.
True. You probably would be at his level, but every coin that kind of drops in, he like looks down at it, and he looks back up at you, and he's like looking down, and then he finally at 10, he kind of closes.
Oh, this is a worthy gift. Thank you very much. Blessings be upon you from whatever god you worship.
He kind of looks you up and down, like looking at your holy symbol and not recognizing it.
My dear friend Mortis also authored a song for you.
I did a song.
A song for the big boss.
And now is not the time to sing it, for we do not have friends and fire and drink.
I tell Killik
later.
I tell Killik that I once knew another Killik, a great and doughty warrior. You do him honor.
Maybe I'm descended from him.
It's possible.
Maybe they come from a pure stock.
Well, you're off to see the king then? Yeah?
Yes.
All right, then. Off you go, then. Be aware, of course, that you'll see me again, because this is the way that you want to go, should you wish to see the troll lifts. Or you want to see the troll lifts, don't you? Kind of wish you'd asked me about that, so I didn't have to just give you that information.
Well, unfortunately, we have forgotten how to ask any questions in this adventure, John.
I'm so charmed by your accent. It is, it's mesmerizing. But you did.
You should ask him if he knows how to get to the set marketplace.
That's a good question. Do the troll lifts lead to set?
The troll lift, it's a long journey. You want to get to the form of set, do you? Something wrong with Goblin Town, is there? Something you can only get to the form that you can't get from the king?
Quite the opposite. We have crusades to wage for the king, my friend. We need to know where the enemy lies.
Like you. Oh, like you. That's the right answer, friend. You want to get to the former set. It's a long and dangerous journey for within the halls. Only the most daring want to go see the high priestess. You've got to take the troll lifts down to the arena. But don't go to the arena. You need to head immediately out in that direction. And you'll come across a passageway, worked our content, and soon enough, you'll find yourself in a chamber with a blue pillar with many faces. Oh, yeah.
I was there.
I have not seen it myself. And you must be wary, for you will be very close to the long staff.
You think?
We've heard that's pretty bad, yes.
But there is a way. There is a way. Through natural caverns, and you'll reach the great bridge that will take you to the forum. But more importantly, friends, the sundered span is just to the north here. You can cross it now and past the sundered span to the north. The troll lifts. You tell Riglon, Killik, the big boss of the wet cave, sent you.
Riglon. What does Riglon look like? What does he look like?
Troll. He's a big old mighty troll. You pay him your respect.
Not to speculate too long, but I kind of figured maybe the natural cave had signs of trolls, right? Mm-hmm. So this makes sense. This kind of bridges that assumption, I bet. That's amazing. Wow.
So this is the top of the troll list past the sundered span. You can only go down. Riglon will only send you down. But when you go down that level, the arena will be there. And also the Inn of the Lost.
The Inn of
Just
the
a
Lost.
quick journey if you've got the coin, which you obviously do, friends.
One last question, friend. For those who are always lost, like ourselves. What is this inn you speak of? Lost souls or lost journeymen?
Indeed, I pegged you for a smart one. Lost souls is exactly the reason the inn has that name. Anyone who is a loner or on their own and needs a place of respite, a safe haven, some would call it. The Inn of the Lost is where you'd want to go.
And no one's judged for their
past misdeeds, friend.
Yes, exactly.
He puts like a finger aside his nose.
Right in my mouth, friend.
He's like, no, exactly right, my friend. No judgment there. Just talk to the innkeeper. You talk to the innkeeper. His name carries great power in the halls. Fagin Whitemane, his name is. He's a mystery to all, but he allows all comers as long as they don't break the peace within the bounds of the inn.
I'll give you this assurance, my friend, for you've been so helpful. We'll bring a flagon of your favorite mead back from the inn next we return from it.
That would be excellent. And that mead's name is such and such that I haven't had the time to look up right now.
All right. I like to call it the corpulent maiden myself.
That's the one. I'll take a nice flagon of that.
Has a floral taste to it.
So, John, it sounds like you're saying that the Inn of the Lost, if you arrive and you pay with a gold coin and you don't do any business on the premises, it's basically the Continental.
It does that sort of have that vibe. It's very
right.
The baseline rule is exactly the same as the Continental, right? Like nefarious people go there, but it's an absolute neutral zone. How it's enforced, Killik can't tell you. It's just Fagin Whitemane demands that you do not break the peace, or else. What that or else means, he doesn't know.
Is breakfast included?
You got to pay.
I'm going to look around at my compatriots, some of whom I mean, it's my surface. I barely know any of you, and say, do you know anyone who has any guilty consciences or ill deeds that might require a place to stay like that? Would you describe anyone that you know as nefarious?
Not I.
Brother Lothar's soul is completely clean.
That's true.
He's got up into no mischief.
I don't know. I don't know what he does with the papal boys, but
So he says, now you have an audience with the king. Be on your best behavior, as I'm sure you will be with all these wonderful people around you. Now, but should you wish to come back and you wish to use the troll lifts, you come back to the big boss of the wet caves, and you go to the north, to the sundered span.
So I do have a question for you. You know, it's always nice when you're going to meet a new person and make a new friend. You know, does he have any things that are, might set him off? You know, we don't want to, any pet peeves, any children that need to be put to bed, anything like this.
He's, the king, he's just the most wonderful softy you've ever met. You've got nothing to worry about. Do you have any cats with you?
No, sir.
Let me check.
Nary a cat to be seen.
That's
I have
a
cat
shame.
named Schrodinger and my friend Sack over here.
That's a good one, David.
That is pretty good.
He says, well, that's a shame. The king, he loves himself a cat.
Oh, really? That's good to know.
He
Sauteed
adores
or
them.
or
Now, do you happen to have a long rod that might look like it might belong to a Goblin King? I'm not asking for any particular reason.
What?
You do? Let's see it.
What?
Ted, shut up.
I said no.
Oh, I thought you said you do.
Nobody fessed up.
Oh, I thought someone said it. I thought you said we do or something like that.
I thought that's what he said too.
But we're happy to find it for the king. What does it look like, and what does it do, friend?
Oh, I have no idea. There's just a general. Well, I don't know how to put it exactly. We've heard from people in the know that the king wishes he had his old scepter back. Maybe you ask him about it.
Is it golden?
Couldn't tell what it looks like.
All right.
Right.
So we have to keep an eye out for it. Yes.
One last question before we go, my friend. I'm going to point at the door. Has this always been closed? The lizard.
Oh, the door.
He kind of it looks like he kind of forgot that it was back there, and he looks around at it and then he kind of jerks his head back.
That's a rotten place. You don't want to go through that door.
What lies beyond, my friend?
Certain
What are those
doom.
creatures called? I hate that kind. That is the worst kind of doom.
No, there's a bad monster that eats anyone who goes in. Just last month, there was a smarty pants dwarf with servants he had, and he arrived. He came down and he had gifts for the big boss of the wet caves. He did. We feasted for long hours here in the halls, but then the dwarf, he grew curious, as they always do, those tricksy dwarfs. And he got curious about the door, and when we were all sleeping and passed out after the fine dwarven ale, he decided to take it upon himself to try to get through that door. Somehow, he knew the trick. He knew how to get through. We don't know, though. But I heard cries from beyond that door, cries that I will never forget, cries that no dwarf should ever make.
Well, we all know dwarves have heirs, unlike us good goblin folk.
Indeed, I like you the
Understand
most.
real way to live. Always fiddling with stone. It's all kind of obscene, if you ask me.
Well, take a quick breather before you head on. You continue down to Goblin Town, and we will do the same on our stream here.
I saw that segue. That was
You
good.
see that coming.
Nice. Very
Anyways,
slick.
we will take a quick break and then they will continue past the big boss of the wet cave. We'll be right back. Okay, we're back. Bladder's empty. Beer's full. So before you head off, just a couple of other incidental things. I should have mentioned that there was an additional 12 goblin warriors that were arrayed as sort of like his retinue in this chamber, and they were all dowdy looking goblins, similar to the ones that were up in the debouchement, like ones that are not elite, but just like warriors, not citizens, right? That were there to protect him. And he also offers, like when he relates that story about the dwarf who managed to go through the door, he offers to you, he kind of gestures to the door. He's like, if you want to have a look, feel free, but if he says, he kind of tells you that story that it's nothing good is going to come through that door.
Do you recall him using? Oh, before we do that, would you want to ask him if the dwarf brought any implements with him when he was doing this?
Yeah, he was like fully full. They were passed out, but it was a full adventuring party led by this dwarf, and so they were, he can't tell you exactly what they used, but they were fully outfitted for adventure.
No, I understand. What I'm asking is, did he observe the dwarf? Not that it was literally a key, but having a key-like object, for instance, with the slots around the door.
They were all passed out.
Oh, they were asleep.
Yeah,
I see. Okay.
Before we leave, I'd like to ask Killik what the trolls charge to use the troll lifts.
Right. So he tells you that Riglon, he's like,
that Riglon, he's a tricksy fellow as well, but you best pay what he asks for. It costs you a pretty gold piece per person, per leg of the journey down.
So if we cut off our legs, is it cheaper?
It's the other kind of leg, friend. A leg of a journey.
That's what I call a bit of goblin humor.
That's a good way to do the math. How many legs you got? Does he charge by hands? Because that would also give me a discount.
So per journey, not per limb.
huh? No, it's 1 gold.
That was a joke I made.
Oh, okay. 1 gold per person per leg of the journey for the troll lift. That's what Riglon charges.
Right. It was. I mean,
Mike.
I know you were joking, David, but I thought that John was serious. Like that's how he charged. Like spiders pay more or something. I don't know.
It would be very fun and within the logic of like troll kind.
Yeah, exactly.
I love that. Very whimsical.
Yeah. All right. So a gold piece per person per journey. Great.
Yeah. He tells you to one last thing before you go. He just says, like, if you ever come back and you want to go to the troll lifts, when you exit here, you're going to come into a worked chamber, and you need to hurry through that chamber. Is all he says. Get to the. He says,
John,
get to this. He
would
says,
like-
get to the sundered span as quickly as you can. Yeah, Mike.
I want to go examine the door with the big crazy frog guy on it.
Okay. So you make your way around the throne. They're all like, whoa, as you kind of and you have to climb up. You have to kind of part like a whole bunch of the debris in order to kind of take a good look at it. When you look really close, the weird amphibian thing is exactly as I described before. When you look at the indentations, you see that there's 4 of them arranged, equidistant around the carving. They're 2 inches square. And they are covered with significant amount of grime. When you kind of clean them up a little bit and you look at them closely, you can see that each of those small little 2-inch indentations contains a very fine, smaller carving within them. Kind of in the door themselves. Then clockwise from the upper left, one shows 4 amphibious bipeds in a line, each of them holding a spear. All of them have that bullet sort of nose. All right. The second one shows a single amphibious biped pointing his spear directly at you, like face out. The third one shows 3 of them arranged in a triangle, spearing a human that's in the midst of the triangle. And the last one shows 2 of them carrying what appears to be a dead, large, like much larger than them, bald creature with their 2 spears.
Okay. And these are little carvings that are set into the indentations around the door.
Yeah, like little 2-inch, like little 2-inch guys, like you know what I mean? Like really fine carvings.
Three-dimensional figures in there? Are the carvings 3-dimensional, or are they just like pictures on the back of the?
They're like fine bas relief.
So if that little spear that's pointing right at us, if I were to touch it, would it wiggle?
No, I don't. Not
Okay.
Not that bas, not that relief.
Okay.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
Not that bas.
not that bas.
Too bas for you,
So-
bro.
So while Brother Lothar is examining the door, Arishas would ask, do you recall the name of either this dwarf or this adventuring party? We all have our little names that we go by. We have the AV Club. There's some other guys. We're just curious to remember their names.
What was his name?
And he sort of looks at his minions. He's like, "Didn't you remember? Did you get his name?" And one's like, "I remember, Bosh. His name was Jasper Malachite."
Oh, yeah. A forgettable name, as most dwarf names are.
True, my friend. Who names themselves after a stone?
Two stones. Idiotic.
John,
Did you see something there, brother? What did you peering so close at the door for? Don't touch nothing.
I'm not touching a thing. I'm not crazy.
This is an abstract question, but I know there were centuries in which they were pushing back the
frog dudes.
The frog dudes. There's a name we got at the very beginning.
Hoppers.
Of the campaign. Hoppers, yes. So I know there's probably multiple generations of this. With all of the bas reliefs we've seen, et cetera, does the architecture of the store or the sculptural style or anything like that harken to a time period that we would be aware of, Arcantian or otherwise prior?
Yeah, I should have mentioned that the door itself is also completely foreign to you. So it's a very strange, like it's like a weird non-Euclidean sort of thing going on there. Yeah. Yeah.
One more question to the gang, because I can't recall. Again, I can check the notes. When we found the secret passage in Plunger Town to the Hall of Heroes, in that hallway there was a door that we determined was similarly to the amphibious realm. Was it a door or was it just a tunnel that we?
It was a tunnel.
I can't remember.
It was a tunnel.
Yeah, you saw pictures that were that appeared to be like Arcantian work that was depicting what you seemed to be hoppers. Now, what's interesting is that the depiction of the hoppers in these are very different, but recognizable as the same thing that what the Archontians were trying to depict in that hallway, right? Do you understand? It's like one was made by Archontians, and then these very, very fine carvings were definitely not made by Archontians. The door itself, by the way, is also of the pebbled stone that some parts of this chamber are also made out of.
Was it? Does it appear seamless? Does it appear like a single slab of stone was carved? Is that information that would be in the Arden Vul books? I don't know. In other words, does it feel like a single stone was carved in like an immaculate detail?
No,
or
it looks like something was like a piece was carved out, like a 2-inch section of the door is carved out, and then like something was sort of some other kind of stone was sort of inset into it, and then that stone was carved with very, very fine work to produce that those little vignettes 4 times around.
One last question that I don't think is germane to this scenario, but knowing as we do that there's a theme of both within the pyramid entrance of like the gaping maw being like a void, either that could kill you or transport you to a god phone, as we saw in Bludgertown. Is there anything in the mouths of these figures that is notable in its posturing? Is the mouth significant in any of the sculpture?
So
Or
the work is fine in these little squares, but it's not fine enough to actually get like any mouth details. However, the main creature has a wide frog-like bullet nose, but the mouth itself is completely shut, like very, very clamp shut. Yeah.
What about the eyes? Are there any kind of buttons on the eyes or anything like that? Can I investigate that without touching?
You don't see anything obvious. They're almond shaped. They sort of fit the same profile as like the bullet. You know, they're facing that way, and they're glaring forth, like they're looking directly at you. Pupilless, very disturbing looking.
Brother Lothar, might you prick your finger with a bit of blood and touch it upon that sacrificial human? See if anything happens.
Oh, don't do that. That sounds like a blood magic. Don't do that. I like it here. It's nice and warm. People pay me to move through here. Don't be fucking up my job around here. You hear?
It's a campsite rule. You leave someplace better than you found it.
And there's no words on it, right? There's no carvings. No one put any graffiti by it, like "Don't do this" or anything like that. Or
no, that's why he sort of related that story. Is like it boggled his mind that like the dwarf managed to figure it out.
Are there any slide marks on the floor?
Are there what?
Slide marks on the floor, like the door opens out or opens in or slides to one side, or
no, there's nothing here. The debris pile has been obscures everything basically.
Okay, all right. I don't want to sideline us too much, guys. We can just keep going.
Brother Killik, one last question. Do you have any political ambitions? I quite like you.
What can you do for me that the king already hasn't done?
True. But perhaps you should be his right-hand man, or are you? Are you his right-hand man?
I'm as solid as they get, friend. The king trusts me. You think that I would be in this position of power if I didn't know what I was doing?
I as an aside, this guy's like just a random goblin who's just like fully posted up here and has no affiliation with the king. Be amazing. Of course you are. You have an air to you that has
majesty. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
You're regal. You're regal.
Yeah.
Yes. So I don't want to presume anything, but I thought for certain you must be his foremost confidant. I hope to speak again.
He's not. A confidant might be going a bit too far. That man, the one you're talking about, is Palestrim is his name. The major domo of Goblin Town.
Is he a
do you
goblin?
like the major domo, or do you think he's a bit of a dummy? Oh, okay.
You got to
solidarity seems strong between you goblins. I like this about you.
You want an audience with the king. You got to get through Palestrim first.
I thought we already had an audience lined up.
No,
Oh, don't be so sure about that, my friends. And he kind of, like, his long, spindly fingers, he's like, but if anyone's got one coming to them, it's you, folk. Oh, yes, it's you. Down you go, then.
I
Let's go.
I would, you know,
Eden, by the way.
I just, you know, I've heard so much about you, really, from the guys. I did have a little something prepared just for you, you know. Just and he reaches into his bag and he's gonna pull out a little pin, like a little, you know, like a brooch that says, you know, AV Club's #1 guy.
I don't think technically the bag could have it, but I like it. So
I love it.
He loves
It's just a little thing. It's like, you know, cheap little thing. Here you go.
Looks like a buddy Jesus.
It looks good on you.
it. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
I can't thank you enough, friend.
it's like the wings you get in the airplane.
I think it should be Buddy Gorand.
Buddy Gordon, yeah.
Just so you know, friends, AV stands for Abominable Villains.
Oh no!
See you soon. See you soon.
So he's like,
It's been an absolute pleasure. I'll be seeing you soon, I'm sure. Off to the east with you.
Right.
okay, so nothing else you want to ask him, right? Just double checking. Okay, so you head off to the east. So you're going to go for about 30 feet through natural caverns. Did you have something you want to say, Ted?
We should ask him what Estelle was up to, since we didn't ask her.
What Estelle is up to?
It was a joke.
Oh, okay. Okay, so you head east for about 30 feet in a generally eastern direction. At that 30-foot mark, you can see that the natural cavern actually goes north, branches north, but you're not going to go that way, as the goblins sort of yank you in another way. You do hear, from the north, you hear some goblin voices quietly sort of chatting together from the north, and you can also feel a slight breeze coming from the north as well, like just air moving coming from that direction. Dry, but definitely a cool breeze. Anyways, you're going south. You're going southeast. Actually, the cavern starts to branch that direction for about another 10, 20 feet before it opens up into more of like a 10-foot wide corridor that continues to the east and then generally kind of hooks to the north for about 30 feet. And then it starts to go down, down, down. So that's basically like the end point of the map at this area.
So something like this.
Yeah, it sort of widens out and then sort of hooks to the north, right about there.
Like sharply.
Relatively, it's like it keeps it that 10-foot wide. Yeah, you got it, Ted. Kind of makes like a big old crook there, and then it continues, but it starts to spiral downwards. Okay.
So I should be like,
yeah, you got it. That's basically right. So
Okay.
at this point, it starts to steeply twist downwards, and it goes down for about another 100 feet. So down another level you go. So just be aware that as far as you know now, the goblins have a presence on 3 different levels, right? And you go down for another about 100 feet. That's moving at 90. That's going to take you about another turn. Also, the encounter with Killik took a turn as well. So at this point, it is 9 a.m.
We're 350 feet below the debouchement. Is that correct?
That's correct. Yeah. Mm-hmm. The tunnel itself is natural that you're going down, but there is a well-worn path that has been beaten into the rock, making the path like very, very smooth by countless feet. Like lots of feet have moved through here, and down you go. All right, don't mind me. Feast your eyes, audience.
How dare you? How dare you?
All right, great job on that one, Ted. We're going to move you to the map to the direct right of that. Map 10.
Yep. I'm ready.
Okay.
You want to start us in a particular spot?
Yes, I do. You're going to start basically at the very top of the map, in the middle.
Okay. Coming like, as if we're coming south?
Coming south, yeah.
Okay.
You're actually going to be heading southwest.
All right. So that when we hooked north and was it like going like this all the way down, like a corkscrew?
Yeah, basically like a steep screw. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so
Okay. You end up flattening out for about 30 feet, heading directly to the southwest, before you see that there is a rough steps that are carved into the floor of the natural tunnel. The first sign that there's, besides just the flatness of the tunnel itself, that there is intelligent life down here. Call it what you will. And those steep steps carved into the rock end up going directly south for about 30 feet before it opens up into a large chamber.
steps 10 foot wide?
Good question.
5 foot wide?
5 feet wide. 5 feet wide. Sorry. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we got steps that go 30 feet.
And they kind
These
of
are still 10-foot squares, right, John?
there's 10 feet, but they're still in like the natural cavern, right? They've been carved naturally, and they're not natural, but they've been carved into natural rock. And then it kind of opens up. Now, the floor of this cave that you enter into is covered in sand, and you can see that there is a number of egresses. There are 10-foot wide passages that head directly west to the east, and a larger one about 15-foot wide that goes to the south. The westward one, which is to your right, you can see that there is a dim glow of light coming from below, flickering torchlight coming from the west.
Sorry, John. I missed the overall dimension of this room.
I haven't get them yet.
Okay.
Yeah, so the room itself is natural. It's about 30 feet in diameter, roughly. Yeah, and so at this point, you guys all kind of pile in. All the goblins pile in front of you, and you hear from behind you as you enter the chamber, to the northeast, up above. You hear, "Who goes there? Aye, we see you, goblins." And you see, as you turn around, you see a bunch of goblins, actually, about 7 of them actually, jump down from a ledge, which is about 10 feet high in the northeastern passageway, in the northeast of the passageway that goes east, if you know what I mean.
No. I don't. We're in a roughly round 30-foot diameter cave.
All right, so 30-foot diameter cave. There's a 10-foot wide passageway leading west, which has light, an eastern passageway, which is also 10 feet wide. There is a ledge right before that eastern passageway that's in the northeast, where these goblins have jumped down to greet you. And there is also a wide opening, about 15 feet wide, that continues directly south. And the floor is covered with sand.
Okay.
So like a little room up here.
Yeah, there's like a ledge. Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Hmm.
Actually, I'm going to switch over to Miro for the folks at home. Okay. Yeah. So this sergeant and his guards kind of jump down, and they've got spears, and the sergeant's carrying a morning star, and they've all got bows. And you see that actually a couple of them actually stay up on that ledge, and one of them up there is holding on to what appears to be the end of a rope that connects to the ceiling beyond your eyesight, like in something dark in the recesses of the cave. And he's just sort of like waiting there.
It is probably not good.
And you see that one that jumps down is actually, instead of holding a spear, is actually holding a gigantic cowbell, threateningly. And they jump down, and they're like, and they look him up, and they're like,
Who are you? I don't recognize you.
he's sort of looking at you beadily.
I
thought we had a goblin.
am Mortis J. Gobliano, adventurer, and these are my most excellent comrades. We seek an audience with your king.
Is it? And they all are like,
Yes, this is the one. This is Mortis.
and they're,
Oh, yes. We've heard he's going to be coming down with some of the tall folk.
and some of them like clap each other's hands, like, I remember you. Oh yeah, and you. Gangrene doesn't appear to recognize too many of them. It seems like you think that Gangrene's probably been up top for quite some time.
All right.
Would you say the life expectancy is of the average goblin in Arden Vul?
But they're feckin'.
We've seen that there has been a lot of turnover.
You have to look at the whole, not the individual, when it comes to goblins. You know.
I think
Don't look at the goblin hole.
I think Codswallop worked for us for about a week before we killed him. Yeah, we hired him on the 22nd of Ligarios, which was last month, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. So yeah, the goblins don't last long around here. Okay.
He's like, well, they were expecting you. Then down to the market you go, to the south, and they point south. Go talk to Weskenim.
The market?
Weskenim, yes, the bailiff. We'll talk to the bailiff.
Bailiff. We must speak to the bailiff. Of course we must. Yes.
You see the cowbell guy like lowers his bell a little bit, and the one guy who's still on top of the ledge like takes his hand off the rope, and they're all like all dancing like, yes, talk to the bailiff. And down south you go. So to the south, it opens up into a much larger chamber. It's about 30 feet wide.
How far do we go?
I haven't gotten there yet. It's about 30 feet wide, and you're moving south directly for about another 40 feet before you meet a straight edge, which is approximately 50 feet wide. So it sort of starts at 30 and sort of opens up it opens up until it reaches about 50 feet wide at the end after about 40 feet.
Passage does?
Yeah. Well, it's like a big chamber.
So wait, we got the round room. You head south, and the passage just widens to 50 feet?
No, it eventually widens. It starts at like 30, and then it widens to 50 by the end as you head south.
The room or the corridor?
There's no corridor. It literally opens up from where you are right now to like about 30 feet wide, and then it continues to open up until it reaches about 50 feet wide. So here, there's also fresh sand on the ground as well. And let's see.
John, looking up in that smaller room, could if he holds the light up, could he see what that rope was connected to up there any better? You said it was kind of dark and shadowy.
Unfortunately, you can't, not unless you climbed up there. It disappears into darkness, like in like the natural cavern.
It's a bit of a deep cut, but the map currently looks like a worm girlfriend.
What?
Don't worry about it, Dad.
Okay, so as you enter this chamber, you're kind of scuffing through sand. There's been like lots of footprints all over the place, and you actually hear a feline growl, like a wow, and you see kind of come into the light from the south is nothing. Strangely enough, a bobcat, kind of like his weird ears and all that kind of stuff with his big old face, and it kind of steps in as like, rah, and then stepping into the light as well behind him and putting a hand on top of it, and it's because it's a bobcat. This is the goblin's like quite a big next to the goblin. Is a short and very round and rather overweight goblin who looks very, very self-important and is carrying a long sword, which he has like basically resting on his shoulder, and he's got a big like tarnished badge, like a sheriff's badge that's sort of like a star, like on his pinned to his armor, and he's got a helmet which is sort of crooked to the side a little bit. And he comes back with 3 goblins who are carrying picks, military picks, behind him as well. And he's like, "Well, what do we have here then? I see a lot of goblins and I see a lot of tall people. Come to trade in the market, have we?"
My good sir, you must be the bailiff.
"Indeed I am. I can see that my name precedes itself. My name is Weskenim, and I am the bailiff of these halls." And he gestures to the south.
Hail and well met, good sir. I am an imperial goblin who goes by the name of Mortis J. Gobliano.
That is wonderful. I have not heard of you.
Very good, then. I shall explain my purpose. I and my colleagues, and this fine gathering of goblins here that follows me, We seek an audience with the king.
As do most. Most do not get it. Be aware that should you find yourself in the presence of the king, that you should offer worthy tribute unto him, for he is our great lord.
And worthy tribute we bring, indeed.
Very good.
By what process may we seek audience formally?
He will no doubt find you should he know that you are coming. Otherwise, you should head to the west. And he points to like a rickety bridge. He says, he said, no doubt, of course, you will need to familiarize yourself first with the marketplace, which is directly below you. If you could see the top of the ladder yonder, and he points to the very edge of that lip, which is a straight line across there, Ted. And at the very middle of it, you can see like the tops of like two, the tops of a ladder poking up.
Right.
You must descend that way. When the time comes and the king calls for you, or should you be granted an audience, we would be delighted to see you to attempt to cross the bridge yonder. And he shows you that at the very western end of that straight line, there is a very rickety and goblin-sized bridge, which is stretching directly west. And it's basically been drilled into the rock of the wall, going westward.
Going, what, the lip that we're standing at here?
Yeah, so they're like that last 10 feet of the ledge there, Ted, is the beginning of a very rickety, sort of 3-foot wide wooden bridge that has been bolted into the rock wall, heading directly west.
Did I draw too much wall to the west?
No. You see my arrow?
Hold on. No, I don't. Okay, go ahead.
See me?
Yep.
Okay, so there is like a bridge that juts out here and goes west.
Oh, it juts out. I see.
Yeah. Basically, like south of that this ledge here, Ted, is just open space that you can see for now, because you guys are kind of far back right now talking to Reskin. Now, interestingly enough, even though he's carrying the longsword on his shoulder, you see that tucked into his belt, and it's quite large compared to his little round body, is a perfectly cylindrical, long rod, unadorned, that looks exactly like the golden rod, except it's made out of platinum.
No way.
All this time. We're getting killed for a goblin stick.
No. Yeah, you don't think it is, Mike, do you? Would you just... okay, all right.
Just say it, Ted.
What are you looking at?
I am looking at your excellent bobcat. Where did you get it?
The bobcat. We found it in one of our excursions to the surface at the base of the Great Cliff. I took a liking to it. I am a people person who loves animals.
Yeah, I can tell, brother.
I'm a malfunctioning robot from Westworld.
What, pray tell, is the name of this most excellent feline, sir?
I'll give you one guess what my bobcat's name is, sir.
Is it Bob?
Correct.
Oh man.
Would you mind if I'm kind of a fan of cats and felines in general. Would you mind if I have a little something for him? If it's okay, would you mind?
Sure, he'll eat anything.
So I reach into the bag and I pull out a little catnip mouse.
You were stretching it for what's coming out of this bag. Mundane.
Hey, under 15 gold.
There's
catnip mouse. Come on.
There's no catnip mouse. There's no such thing as cat. You can pull some food out of it.
Okay, then it's just a okay. I'll pull a little sardine. Let's give him a little sardine.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. He snatches it. He loves it.
What was that?
That's the happy meow.
Okay.
Happy New Year. Yeah.
All right. So, if I may, just to make sure we have no misunderstandings, the king will send for us when the king chooses to do so. In the meantime, we may go down the ladder to the market. Is this correct?
Please, there is much to see and do there. You will have a great time.
Are there any inns there for us?
Inns? Oh, no. You mean the Inn of the Lost? No, you must go back and talk to Killik. Take the troll list down.
No, we're looking for just a place where we can rest our weary bones on our travels to the king.
Oh, that. Yes, of course. You can do that. You simply have to go down and you can lay your bed anywhere you like. All are welcome at the Goblin Market.
What, if I may ask, would you say recommend for a repast? What shall we eat? What is the very finest thing on offer here in Goblin Town?
Well, you can go over to the Great Fire, and there you can roast anything you like and have many delicious treats. There are, of course, always some foreigners around in the southeastern part where the marketplace is. I'm sure they will have something more akin to your likings and taste buds.
Thank you, Reskin. You have been most helpful, as I'm sure you always are.
I'm convinced that Reskin is a rogue AI that escaped from one of the spaceships.
I wish you well in Goblin Town. Please do not forget to pay tribute to the king and to be peaceful at all times.
You as well, Reskin. We will see you later.
Are you making fun of me?
Maybe a little bit.
Okay, so you so he gestures you over to the ladder. Watch that first step, it's a doozy. And so when you reach the edge of the ledge itself, you look out over a vast space. You see that there is the glow of fire and torches below, and a low hum of chatter of like a lot of stuff going on down below. But there's all these sort of smoky whirligigs that are sort of floating around in the air, right? Like lots of smoke, and you can smell like all this weird, some delicious smells, some very foul smells, all sort of rising up and creating this haze in front of you, right? That's all diffused with that light coming from below, right? In this chatter. However, as you're looking around, you can see that ahead of you and to the right, so to the west, you do see two spots of relatively bright light, which are probably coming from braziers, coming from some distance to the west. Probably you can't quite make it out, but you would say at the top of the ladder you're looking at, well, let's see, 10, 20, 30, 40, about 60 feet away to the southwest. At this level, right? That's what I'm saying, right? There are two braziers. To the directly to your east, there is the natural cavern actually joins with some actual worked stone, and this worked stone is actually Arcantian. Like you can 100% confirm it is Arcantian. Let me just get the deal here. You can see that that section actually forms a span that goes across the open space directly to the south. So, Ted, if you look where my pointer is, like right here, this 10-foot section right there is actually Arcantian stone, and it moves out and south over the span for about 10 feet before it breaks off. So the Arcantian stone has crumbled, but there is a section of rickety wooden bridge, the same sort of make as the one that's to the west, that spans that broken part across the middle of the open space for about 20 feet before it joins up with at the end of your sight, the remains of that Arcantian work. Okay. And to be clear, There is space and smoke and light coming from all directions beyond that bridge and everywhere in front of you. Like there's a vast space in front of you. Okay.
So
This is at the same level where we are, right?
Yes,
that bridge?
the bridges are both at the same level, and those braziers to the west are also at the same level.
but the ladder goes down into darkness, and that's not where all the goblins are, is down there. They're on the other side of the bridge.
No, they are down there. So like coming from down below, you hear all that soft goblin chatter, like just like a low hum of activity going on, and that's where the smells, all the smoke is also coming from as well, and the light. It's all coming from down below, but it's just like a miasma of smoke, so you can't really make out what's down there. You understand what I mean? And the light's just making it worse because it's diffusing through the smoke. Does that make sense?
Right. So we can't see what's to the other side of this gap.
That's correct.
We can just sort of see smoke and pinpricks of fire down below and some braziers up above.
That's correct. You got it.
Okay. And the Weskenim told us to go down, not across.
That's right.
And
we're
so
going to
the
the king, we
large
go
folk,
west.
he said, yeah.
He said the king is west on the bridge. He didn't. What Weskenim? What's across that bridge right there? What's that?
You can go that way if you want, but you're going to find yourself in unoccupied corridors, and you might stumble upon people who may not like it that you are there.
Okay.
Introduce yourself first.
Sure. Okay. So you guys want to go down the ladder then?
Yeah.
I think so.
see why not.
Yeah.
Okay.
Down into the southeast where we can see some people like us, huh?
Okay, so down you
No
go
offense.
down this ladder. The ladder itself is made out of a combination of wood, bone, and twisted hemp, and it is 55 feet tall. You're actually descending about 50 feet straight down the side of this this wall, and the wall is made out of very fine Arcantian stone. It looks at one point that there was probably large frescoes that decorated this entire massive wall on the north side, but have long since either been obscured by smoke or fallen away or deteriorated as you descend down into the actual goblin town. And we will take our second break and come back to see what their eyes alight upon when we come back. All right, we're back again for the end part of this session. All right, so you're going to head down this ladder. Now, for the purposes of the map, Ted, we're going to consider what you're about to draw a different level, even though you're technically on the same level. Okay? It's only because you're like, there's two different elevations to the goblin halls. You came in the top one, and now you're going down 50 feet, which is far enough that you're going to need to draw like a separate map. Okay, so stay on this same map.
Could I draw it in place but in a different color?
It'll end up being rather confusing depending on how you go.
All right, so just pick a different spot on the map.
So what I would do is actually just take a straight line from your ladder and move south. And give me 1 second. I can give you a relatively let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Move about 15 or so squares from the southern end of the map north, and then that's where the bottom of the stairs of the ladder will be. You may have to get rid of your legend there.
I'm not sure I follow what you mean by 50.
Just go 15 squares north from the bottom of the map.
On the bottom.
So here.
15 squares.
15, not 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Okay,
and
I didn't have it zoomed in. I wasn't seeing the.
And then that line at the 15-foot square line is basically like you can just draw to east to west for quite a distance, because that's like the great northern wall of the market. Okay, and you're coming down to the base of those.
Is that what we're climbing down?
Yeah, you're climbing down the ladder that's ratcheted into that wall.
Yeah. That's what I was going to ask. My next question. This isn't a ladder that somebody could just like push over and tip down like a painter's ladder. This is bolted into the wall,
It's
going
bolted
straight
in.
down.
Yeah, this one is actually like pretty well made, and it's seen like a lot of use. All right, and it has been made for not just goblins; it's been made to accommodate larger people. So you guys have no problem getting down in there, and it feels like you're descending into hell. Because it's like smoke and redness and torchlight and noise and smell, and then you drop down onto the ground and you see skittering all around you, up the walls, around your feet, all around are these strange white little lizards. They're kind of cute, but they really stand out in the torchlight as they kind of skittering all around, and they're just everywhere you move in the market. They are always around.
Is there any iridescence there, or are they just white?
They're just white. So
do they resemble the 2 guard lizards that we saw, but smaller?
No. They're like little geckos, like little cute little geckos sort of things. You are now in the lower Great Hall. This is a huge hive. There's activity, noise, motion all in front of you, all around you. The craftsmanship of the hall itself is unbelievably impressive. Like you don't know what this place used to be in Arcantian times, but it was obviously a place of great importance because it is massive and very, very well built. There is, it opens up in front of you, and basically directly in front of you in the center of the hall. I'm just going to give you the general dimensions because you can kind of, now that the smoke is sort of rising up, you're kind of seeing everything sort of splayed out in front of you. Okay. And it's all well lit with numerous torches and fires. The entire hall is basically a gigantic rectangle. 1, 2, 3. Actually, I may have written this down. Hold on. Did I? Hold on.
Are we coming in the center?
I didn't because I'm an asshole. 1, 2, 3. 4,
I've been wanting to tell you.
7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
And David dies again this session.
It is 170 feet east to west. 1, 2, 3.
Are we in the middle?
7. You are 20 feet from the middle to the west.
Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 6,
3, 4, 5. And it is 70 feet north to south.
Oh, that's easy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Okay.
Like, so not if you're not in pen mode. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so did you say 170?
Yeah. Now, I would say, Ted, that in order to say that we don't really slow things down, and because this isn't like, you're not really dungeon crawling, you're in a center of civilization now, that you don't have to be completely accurate. It's sort of like as you sort of approach things, I'll kind of give more definition. But I just want to give you the general feel of like the scope of this thing now, right? So in the direct center of the market is a large fountain. That is where is it here? So there is a 3-foot tall circular plinth made out of pink marble that is in the center. There is, wait, is that I'm sorry. That's not the fountain. Okay, I'm sorry. Yeah, it's a statue. There is a fountain, but I'm looking at the wrong thing. So in the direct center is a statue, 3-foot tall circular plinth of pink marble. It shows a 6-foot tall male human dressed in chainmail with a velvet cowl, who is gesturing to his right with a 3-foot long baton. Okay. It's rather strange. He is also draped with flowers, like dramatic flowers, like garlands are sort of draped all over him. And he's actually been roughly fitted with like goblin style clothing. That's pointing all over. That's draped all over.
Arcantian? He appears Arcantian?
He appears Arcantian, yeah. Mm-hmm.
But he's been actually dressed and covered in actual flowers.
That's correct, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
To the east of that, about 20 feet to the east of that statue, is a very large fountain that dominates the eastern side of the market. There is a huge fountain. A cylinder of water is pushing up from the center of it.
How wide is this?
And the fountain is about 30 feet diameter, directly in the center. And And
I'm
yeah,
glad we didn't bring the fish down here.
It looks to be cool and clear water. Now, 10 feet to the west of the statue is the major source of light, which is a huge fire pit that's roughly about 40 feet east to west, 20 feet north to south, right in the center of that room, right in the center of the hall itself. And that, let's see, it's a huge pile of charcoal, bunch of wood and trash and bones, and there are numerous goblins that are there that are literally just have meat on sticks and are just holding it over the fire and roasting it. So those are like the dominant things the dominant structures that are in the middle of the hall. In addition, there are goblins everywhere. All right, there are goats that seem to be sort of wandering around. Every once in a while, the goblins will actually snag one of the lizards and just throw it down their gullet. You hear the cries of hawkers coming from the southeast beyond the fountain, which you can't really see at this moment. And you see a number of strange folk sort of wandering around. There are definitely some human merchants, which you can tell are Thorkin. You've seen their like at the Broken Head before. They're sort of wandering around, they're sort of looking at things and taking things in. You also see that standing grimly at the far southern end in the middle of the hall, in a little niche, are two huge ogres that look very, very stern and look like they are very, very on guard, watching and just sort of glaring at anyone that crosses their line of sight. Your heads whip around as you see coming from the west, emerging from the, like silhouetted against the fire. You're like, no, it couldn't be. It couldn't be. And you see that there is a troop of what appears to be 6 red armored men, fully armed, that are escorting a very well armored, red armored as well, cleric, all proudly bearing the strange set holy symbol around their necks, as they sort of march through. It's completely oblivious, like they're just sort of wandering around, sort of doing their bid. They're actually like joking with each other. Yeah, Mike.
Does it match Samantha's armor?
Yes.
Should have
Yes, it
brought
does.
Oh well.
There are a number of goblins that are actually performing martial maneuvers in a like a more secluded part of the hallway as well. They're sort of like doing spear moves. And you're like, wah, wah, like all in relative unison, although their sergeant is like chivying them for being not in unison. And you see that those goblins are actually, some of them are actually like slacking off, and they are actually chatting with a group of goblins that you recognize, which is Harub's band. You see, and they're like clapping each other on the back. One person that you see that is missing from Harub's band is Lara Keem. She is nowhere to be seen. And then, as you're sort of all taking this in, the smells and everything, those are definitely coming from the southeast, by the way, you see a very, very strange figure come up to you. Let's see. Give me 1 second. I've got it here. One moment, please.
Reticulating splines.
Reticulating splines, exactly. There he is. All right. I got to get the description right because it's very, very interesting. Something that you've never seen before. A 3.5 foot tall bipedal automaton kind of strides up to you. It's like, and it's very sort of Tin Woodsman. It's like shank, 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 as it like, it definitely makes like audible footsteps on the ground. It's 3.5 feet tall. It has skinny, segmented legs and arms, all right, that are attached to a relatively bulbous belly. The head, strangely enough, is completely different than the rest of its body. It's made out of bronze, and it is definitely Arcantian. You have seen bronze statues like this before. dotted in the Arcantian runes and stuff like that. It's a classic Arcantian with like a full bearded aristocratic sort of head. And it's just a statue's head that's been sort of placed on top of this body. Strangely enough, though, the body is what draws your attention because these segmented arms and legs and bulbous torso are made out of that same material you saw in the spaceship.
Do it.
Okay.
Oh my God.
The white material.
Wandering around.
Yeah, the plasteel, exactly.
Yeah.
So and then strangely enough, too, the eyes from the carving of the bronze carving that's been set, that is the head of this thing, have been taken out, and the eyes have been replaced with brilliant blue aquamarine gems that are staring right at you. All right. The mouth is slightly parted, but it's just a statue head, right? And it kind of comes up to you, and it says, "Greetings, folks. My name is Kerbolg Khan." And it's very, very tinny. Like it's coming through like what it sounds like a microphone almost. Like this distorted electrically. You can hear like a lot of hisses and pops.
Greetings, Kerbo Khan. I am Brother Lothar.
Is there something that you... I'm so sorry. I don't think I've ever seen you in the Goblin Market before.
We're here for an audience with the king.
Interesting. And is there any parts of the halls that you may have information from that may be useful to me?
Well, what is your function?
He sort of takes a step back a little bit, and once again, this voice is coming. Like the lips aren't moving at all, right? Just seems to be coming from like a hollow place or something. And can this be? You do not know? You've never heard of the great Kerbolg Khan?
I'm fairly new to Arden Vul.
And you see all like the goblins that are around you, like the ones that kind of escorted you down there, like they're all laughing and they're like, "Oh, you must have heard of Kerbolg Khan. We call this one Beardless. You see, because he's got a beard. See, and they're like all
You guys
laughing.
are hilarious.
Amazing.
We have never heard of Kerbold Khan. Please enlighten us.
We're a year into the adventure.
This was supposed to be our first NPC interaction.
Yes. That's kind of true.
Back to page 1.
Give me 1 second. Sorry.
He's got to go back. He's got to find it.
Yes.
Page 3.
Yeah, exactly.
General question while John's looking, or for John, but did we determine what the floors are? Are they cobblestone? Does this feel like a town square?
So,
Or is it just
Yeah,
dirt?
it's all like it's stone, but there's like straw and debris and sand all over the place, but it's all worked Arcantian stone. Yeah.
So the one thing I want to ask specific to that is, is there any wear or grooves as if wagon wheels have traversed any of these, like this area, as if it may have been like a
Cart.
Yes, cart, but like as if there may have been the roads or more like heavy traffic that was coming. Like we came down a ladder, right? Like that's not
Right.
for the scale of what we're looking at. It's strange to me that the ladder would be the entry point. So I'm curious if at some point in history there might have been like traffic.
So it looks
people aren't carrying a bunch of goods down a ladder.
Yeah, so it appears you haven't explored every corner of this place, but there is no evidence that any large vehicle could get here. It doesn't even look possible that like a horse or a mule or a cart could come through here at all.
Just one thing, just in the back of your mind, just so you know, with all these goblins that we have that are carrying these bags, right? I would have Avaricios. Maybe you guys are doing this too. And y'all kind of hang back around the edge of this group, watching to make sure none of our porters peel off and decide to go spend some of the king's tribute.
Sure. No, they all look like they're kind of happy to be down there. None of them look like they're doing that. You see a number of people. Let me get the name here. Where is it? Hold on, sorry.
Oh, my dog has arrived. Hello, buddy.
Whoa! Someone's happy. Oh, so you hear a number of goblins
Not
actually.
like my cowl. Oops. I'm a villain to him. Sorry, 1 second, guys.
So you see a number of them a number of goblins in the halls approach the goblins that you came down with, and they notice that they're loaded for bear with, like, you know, the gold isn't shining, obviously, but they're like, everyone's carrying these huge rucksacks, right? And they say, like, you need to go talk to Master Life Cream, they say. Life Cream, that's right. It's not spelled that way, but it sounds like that.
Was that written, or did you? Is that your invention, John? You can break the fourth wall for this one.
It could be leaf cream, whatever. I'm calling it Life Cream. They say, go talk to Master Life Cream, and they point towards the southeast. They say, if you've got stuff to unload, you should definitely go talk to Life Cream. He's got the storage center, you know. The vault, it's secure, you know. And the goblin's like, yeah, we know. But where were these guys first? And they point up to you guys, you know, the tall folk. Meanwhile, the Kerbold Khan, or who's presenting himself as Kerbold Khan, once again, this sounds like the voice is coming from very, very far away through this unmoving mouth, right? It's very disturbing, right? And he says, I can perform many services for you, as anyone here can tell you. Isn't that right, friends? And like his little arm sort of gestures out, segmented like a doll, you know. And all the goblins, the one that came down with you, they're like, all bargains must be sealed with blood. All bargains must be sealed with blood. And they all like dance around. And he goes, that's right, friends, that's right. All bargains must be sealed with blood. But I can perform many, many feats for you, many services. Do you wish to teleport somewhere? I can help you out. Kerbold Khan can help with that. Spell services, healing, information, I can offer it all. What can you offer me? And just remember, anything you offer must be sealed with blood. Isn't that right, friends?
My kind of guy.
So
Can you identify magical items?
Oh, yes, I can do that without issue.
I'm going to show him my ring immediately. What's this? Iso's ring.
Sealed with blood.
One goblin points at you, he's like, must be sealed with blood.
Yeah, sure. I'll prick my hand with a dagger.
Well, it'll take more than that, friend. I need information. Do you have any information? Anything from the halls that you can provide? I crave more information about what's going on.
Who do you work for?
Only myself, friend. I am a wizard of great power. What do you laugh at, friend? You consider yourself a wielder of the arcane power, I can tell. But you've got a lot to learn, friend. I see the mark of the Collegia on you. Well, I, too, was once a member of the Collegium, and I can tell you, sir, that you do not match up. You've got a lot to learn, friend.
I have an idea, guys. So going through his notebook here, Mort would say to, what's his name? Kublai Khan?
Kerbold Khan.
Kerbold Khan. Mr. Kerbold Khan. What sort of information would you seek? Would it be, for example, useful to you to know a piece of Thothian knowledge?
Do you know my good friend Isocrides, Kerbal? Another caster of great import.
Isocrides. I think I've heard the name mentioned by some of the denizens down here. Apparently has some sort of reputation up top.
Not an important one, then.
Not important to me.
How long have you been down here?
Oh, a long time. I've got very important work down here, don't you know? Of course, I'm always happy to help those in need. I find many of those people here in the Goblin Market and wandering the halls. Should you find yourself lost, just look for one of our dragonflies, and those dragonflies can help you find a way out. Happy to help. Always. That's my middle name.
We definitely came in the wrong entrance originally.
Son of a... We've been spending a year just chasing our asses all over the goddamn dungeon, dude. This is crazy.
Wait a second, brother. You have to tell me that you have not encountered one of my automatons? Well, that is quite amazing. I am so sorry to hear that. You must be bereft. You must be lonely. Well, welcome to the Goblin Market.
My dear friend, I believe I've heard tell of your kind, but they have the ability to fly, and you don't appear to have it yourself. That's a shame.
Oh, I forget myself. Once again, my name is Kerbold Khan. Your name, of course, is
Blondveg.
Blondveg. Very pleased to meet you, Blondveg. You are not actually speaking to the Kerbold Khan. I am actually transmitting my voice through this device. I am quite far away in a very remote part of the halls, of the location of which I cannot divest. I'm sure you understand.
So how many of these automatons and technologies have you encountered, my dear remote friend?
Well, that kind of information is private, I would say. You would have to. There has to be a trade, of course, for that kind of information. I don't even know if I would give that information to you. Actually, now that I think about it,
How would you describe your surroundings, Kerbal?
these surroundings right here.
No, from which you speak.
Oh, well, I can see that you're not exactly the subtle sort. You're going to have to learn that if you wish to survive in the halls of Arden Vul. I am not an idiot. I would please. I would ask of you to not treat me as one. That would be fantastic. Thank you.
I take a step away from Misophase. I'm just like,
I do not think you're an idiot. You're just a bit hollow, in a manner of speaking. And I'd like a more human interaction, as it were.
Oh, well, beggars can't be choosers, as it were. Talk to me when you're not a beggar, and maybe we can work something out.
This guy's a real shit. Love him.
Ted?
Yes, Mortis.
Mr. Khan. Oh, Mr. Khan, Mr. Khan. It sounds like what you are seeking is information about the floor plan of various levels of the dungeon. Would that be it?
Well, let's be
things we've
specific here.
observed?
I'm glad you asked, Mortis J. Goblin. And by the way, your name precedes you. All the goblins here are talking about you.
As was foretold.
Well, the most important thing is now the Kerbal Khan knows your name, and that's a very, very important fact. So what I'm looking for here is I'm looking for information on general magical resources, perhaps, and specifically in the Rudishva era technology. That's what I'm really interested in.
Rudishva era.
Yes, yeah.
I am very experienced, as are my comrades and I, but not in that title. I don't know what that means.
The Rudishva, yes, the beings that once resided here that had a hegemony of sorts, fought against the great the Heketi, the Hoppers, as some folks know them. Yes, you know, of course, right? They tall folk with small little horns, like devil-like horns. I don't even know if they're native to this. That's why I wish to know more. But they created this, and he sort of bangs his body.
Yeah. And well, if I were to tell you we know of many Rhodesha things, but they come at a price, what would that mean to you, my friend?
Ah, do you now? Suddenly, all of a sudden, we know everything there is to know about Rhodeshva. Well,
I don't know about that.
If you've got actual information, I would love to hear it. All deals must be sealed with blood.
And how does blood transmit through your automaton?
Oh, just put it in my mouth there.
Yeah.
I have an idea.
He wants our DNA, by the way, guys. He wants our DNA. He wants a fucking yeah. Can we lift the head off the automaton? Is it like?
oh no, I moved well away.
Guys, so here's the thing, guy. I saved a little piece. I don't know if anybody else did. When we were in the spaceship, I have a little piece of the broken space glass. Okay, you have some. I wasn't sure.
I have a piece of space glass. I was just about to offer it as possibly what he would like to have. But if you would like to do it first, that's fine.
Tease him with it. Well, get him to answer stuff.
Yeah. So, he would, reach into his pouch and say, just as a symbol. Oh, by the way, my name is Avaricios Vepirenos. Nice to meet you. He would pull out the little piece of space glass and show it. We have found many interesting things in our journeys through the dungeon. I'm sure at some point we might have something to discuss.
Yes, that is indeed a piece of Rudishva glass. So you have been there. Very interesting. Well, I think we might be able to bargain.
What would you offer for this piece of glass?
For the glass, nothing. I've seen you. You don't think I've been around Rudishva glass? I mean, you got to tell me something more there, friend. Where'd you find it? What else was there? Do you have any treasure worth talking about? Technology, friend. Technology. That's what I'm looking for here.
I see.
I see.
So presumably, then you know how difficult it is to acquire the technology.
Oh, indeed, it's very difficult. Yeah, that's what I have my automaton searching around for at all times. But I try to enlist as many of the denizens of Arden Vul to help me out in that venture.
I see.
I'm curious about something. These dragonfly automaton that you mentioned. Is there a way, like, if we wanted to signal one, that we could draw the attention? Let's say there's one, around the corner or down the hallway. We would never see it, but how could we call one to us if we wanted to?
Kerbog Khan cannot be summoned at will, friend. All the automatons have my spirit within them, and I can talk through them. So you were going to have to just happen upon me, but I can assure you that many of my automatons do wander the halls.
Interesting.
Oh, that's good to know. All right.
I'm curious because we've discovered several what probably sites that you would be interested in, but we've never dealt with you. So we have to figure out some way to build a relationship here of trust and exchange.
Well, I can verify, and all the goblins are like, all deals must be sealed in blood. We can assure you, Kerbal Khan is the real deal. He can cast spells through his automaton. It's amazing. You could trust him.
David. Don't take his head off.
No, I'm not. But can I snatch one of these little geckos off the ground?
Sure.
Kerbal, what? You haven't specified what kind of blood would this do, and I'm going to stick a gecko in the mouth.
I appreciate the offering, but it's the person seeking the knowledge's blood that I really need.
Nothing happens to the gecko. It's living still.
Well, I guess if you didn't kill it, but
no, I just tried to stick it in the mouth and see if there's any sort of mechanism that.
No, he doesn't. Well, he doesn't.
In which case, I'll say. Hold on. In which case, I'll say. Well, if you're not hungry, I am, and I'll look at one of the goblins and I'll toss the gecko in my mouth and I'll eat it.
Nice. It's pretty gross because it's a raw lizard. But the guy's like, tasty, yes.
I'm a wizard, all right? We eat these things all the time.
What would be the rate of exchange here? Like, say we knew one of these sites. What was that worth to you? We need to understand exactly what we're bargaining for.
Well, you have to name what you want. I can provide lots of services, as I said. You need spell casting, you need healing, you need identification, you need teleportation. I'm your guy.
What would you require from us to tell us exactly how to traverse from the debouchement? You certainly know where that is, a man of wisdom as yourself, to the set marketplace or the set forum.
Oh. He's like boggled again by your lack of knowledge,
Okay, listen, buddy. All right, let me rephrase that. Do you sell maps?
Oh, I can't provide maps, but I can certainly provide information to many of the more commonly frequented areas of the halls. Certainly, if you desire a clear path from the bottom of the pyramid to the Forum of Set, I can certainly provide you with that. In fact, I'll give you this one for free. If you want the shortest route to the Forum of Set, get out of the halls of Arden Vul and just go into the entrance on the cliff face.
Yes, I've heard as much.
It's a little bit more roundabout if you wish to do it within the halls, but that'll cost you. So,
hey Ted, yeah. Why don't we describe the room that you and I, Gorand and you, found with the crazy statues and the snakes shooting out, and see if that's worth maybe an identify spell for David.
All right, it's Mr. Khan. Are you strictly interested in these Reduchian, or do you interested in other things as well?
Well, it depends on what else you have. And the word's Rudishva.
Radishva, thank you. Human languages are always baffling to me.
Magic items that you might have or have discovered, precious metals, gems, technology of any sort, unknown locations, something hidden that no one else has seen. All of these interest Kerbal Khan.
I'll whisper to Brother Lothar. We could tell him about the obelisk of evil.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that might upset David. I mean, I'm sure he wants to do something with the obelisk of evil.
Well, I don't have to tell him where it is.
Yeah, we don't tell him where things are.
If you do give him a location, that was right past the spaceship, right?
No, it's actually on the debouchement level. It's on the other side of the chasm. And as far as we know, the goblins haven't been over there yet.
I don't remember what this is. Yeah.
You might have missed. You might not have been there for that episode, but we thought you knew what it was.
So
Yeah.
I think that's actually we're near the end of the session.
Okay.
So that might actually be a good topic of discussion is the sort of the thing that you might want to offer and try to get from Kerbal Khan. But I do want to end it with a short little thing to sort of tack the episode. As you were discussing this thing, and the goblins are super happy that you finally met Kerbal Khan. All this activity, Harb comes over and greets you, and it's like, "Oh, you finally made it. That's excellent." You hear a loud like a throat clearing coming from up above you to the west, far up above you, about 50 feet up, where when you were up at the top of the ladder, you saw those braziers. You see there is a form that sort of emerges from out of the smoke at the top between those braziers. And it is a very, very large goblin who has a huge turban that is sitting on his head. And on top of the turban is a crown that's sort of like skewed a little bit, right? Like a rickety old crown, but he has a massive turban and his ears are like Grogu Yoda, just like straight out to the side, right?
A purveyor of hats I can respect.
And he has massive incisors, so the opposite of gangrene, right? Like where like this, the incisors kind of come down, and he's looming over, like he's 50 feet up above you, right? Staring down upon, and obviously this is the king, right? And he sort of, and you see that he's speaking in a large brass speaking tube. That the opening is basically shouting, like down on the market below. And he says to you, and he says, "Most worthy members of the United Goblin Tribes and esteemed visitors to my halls, it is I, your king." And everyone's like, "Wah!"
I join.
And he's booming forth with like the speaking tube, right? "It brings me great pleasure to announce the return of our brave exploratory team." And he gestures to Harub, and everyone's like, "Raw!" "And I find now that those responsible for escorting them back to safety are here in our presence. More importantly, Palestream over here informs me that these same folk were instrumental in our most recent acquisitions up above." And everyone's like looking at you guys and just like, "Yeah." "I desire to speak with them. They will attend me in my chambers post haste, and nobody better lay a finger on them." And then he sort of retreats back into the smoke. And like all the goblins sort of like crowd around you, just like rah, almost like trying to like lift you up on their shoulders.
No, really.
You see the ogres just sort of like shift their feet and sort of glare at you. The Setites stop in the middle of the hall and just like look at you like really carefully, like, oh, these people are actually important, and they're just sizing you up, like looking really carefully, and the goblins are just like ecstatic, like absolutely ecstatic. Like you should be like absolutely floored that the king has directly asked you to meet him in his chambers. And so we will end it there.
John,
Mort will give lots of high
John,
fives.
Yes.
I should mention, I didn't mention this earlier. Avarisos is wearing that Knight of the Azure Shield armor that we picked up.
Uh-huh.
So I'm just curious if the Setites didn't mention doing that.
No.
Just if they mention or respond to that at all.
They don't seem to. They don't. They kind of lump you in with everybody else, but they don't seem to take particular note of your mail. So you should be fine. Yeah. So okay. So you have made it to Goblin Town. You have been told where there's a safe place to put your money, should you wish to. I don't know if you're gonna have to decide for yourself if you want to actually take all of it up to the king. It's totally up to you. But I will say that it should be fairly obvious that this is indeed a safe haven.
Hell yeah.
Congratulations. You have finally found one outside the Broken Head in Gosterwick, and you will be getting all the XP for that, regardless of what you do with the gold. So awesome job. You've made it to a safe haven. And what's even more important is that you sort of have a direct line from the surface to that safe haven, relatively, as long as you maintain good graces with the goblins, right?
Yeah.
So, anyways, we'll talk about that more
I like
later.
them a whole lot more than Conus and Estelle. I know that.
They are pretty great.
They're pretty great.
Okay, so that'll do it for episode 61, the first episode of Delve 4 of the Halls of Arden Vul. Don't forget you've been watching 3D6 Down the Line. We are the most criminally underwatched actual play on the internet. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Also, join the Patreon if you want a few extra benefits and access to some of our secret channels on our publicly available Discord, where we do lots of chatting. And thank you, as always, to all of our patrons, especially our Conqueror tier level folks. And we always promise to read out their names at the end of the episode. And they are, this week, Chad Cartier, Confused Monkey Meat. Great name. Dale Brady, Tom Laurie, Phil, G Tokyo Time, Terry Barney, Eric Lawson, Mando NZ, Faisal, James Doig, Robert Valdes, Grunt, Andrew Schroker, MM, Michael Schilling, Stefano Di Maiolo, Underwires, Summon Toast, Adam the DM, Jib Cutter, Scott Yearsley, Mech Jack, Kickmaniac, Dire Grew, and last but not least, the Mats. Matt Mason, Matt Gardner, Matt Koenig, and Matt Young. Couldn't do it without the Mats. So thank you, as always, to all of our patrons for your continued support. It goes directly back into the channel, and we appreciate it. So until next time, everybody, have a great week. Bye now.
Thanks, John.
Thanks, everyone.
See you guys. Thank you, John.
Thanks, guys.